Hi Emily, I got the file, the Monogram Pendant to review for you. This is what you sent me. One thing that I see right away is you have to look at this piece without these stones for structure. Where's the weakest point is going to be right in here. So what I did was I made you a new bezel for right here. And one thing I kind of didn't understand is this area on the bezel. Remember, when they set this stone in here, they take a hammer and hammer all along here. So you like to think that you have some control over what this is going to look like, but at the end of the day, you really kind of don't. When I say kind of, I mean you don't. So I took a look at the width here. It looked a little narrow for this being the weakest point through here. So I went ahead and made a new jump ring and bezel, and I kind of moved it over a little bit. This is minimum for the attachment right here. It's about 1 millimeter. One thing with these types of pendants, when you put a chain through here, so usually like a box chain with a jump ring that goes through here, right? This tends to wear out rather quickly, the jump ring against the jump ring. It's the only movable connection, and those two parts wear against each other. So you definitely don't want to skimp on the metal there. Remember, you're looking at something this big when really it's like that big. So I went ahead and made a little bit nicer connection there, and then I also made your bezel just a little bit deeper and a little bit more robust on the bottom so that you don't get any cracking. If you were to leave it the way it was, you could easily get a crack along here in the metal over time, and then you're looking at not only fixing a crack but possibly replacing a diamond that may have fallen out. So everything else looks pretty good as far as like the depths and the widths. One easy way that you can check this is just make a cube that measures 1 millimeter in each direction, and just kind of drag it along here, and you can easily check and see if you have any really small areas without having to snap lines to everything. And the only two things that I saw here that were a little worrisome is this part here looks just a little bit narrow, but it's not supporting anything. Like, all of this is supported by this outside structure. So I'm going to tell you, just go ahead and leave that. That should be fine. And the other thing that works to your advantage is the surfaces around it cannot be cleaned up. So you're not going to lose any metal. What I mean is that this surface and that surface, there's no way it's ever going to get polished. The only thing that's polished is the top and the bottom. So you're not going to lose any width. You're only going to lose this way, which I think you got it at 1.4 millimeters, which is definitely thick enough. So you can leave that there because you're not going to lose anything on the sides, and also this whole piece is connected in other areas. One area that you might have a problem with is right here. Is think about the investment has to go through there. If it was me, I would risk it and leave it alone and see if it comes out. It'll probably come out. And as you're doing these, just keep in mind that when these get really narrow like that, the investment gets really thin, and sometimes the investment can break away. When the investment breaks away, guess where it lands? It lands inside your piece. And on a flat, polished piece like this, you do not want porosity for sure. So everything looks pretty good. Now, looking at this, if you have the ability to do this, I would not make this so long. I would change the font just a little bit. The only reason is it's just a problematic thing that comes down here. I mean, it's unsupported. In fact, for casting, so that this doesn't warp during casting, you're definitely going to want to put support there. Just tie it to something so that it doesn't move around during the casting process. So you'd want to put like a little wire there that you can cut out later. Unlike the area through here that you can't get to, these areas will be polished. So this is the perfect spot to put a little support, because they can easily just be cut right out, and it like doesn't weigh anything. But if you can, I would make this a little bit shorter. You know, think about it. It's like this flap of skinny metal that just kind of is down there on its own, and you really want these pendants to be like a grid, you know, that everything's kind of connected to something. That would be my only suggestion. I guess maybe it's not my only suggestion. I don't know. You know what? Here's the thing on this type of pendant. I would do this. I would put like a little tiny ball in here. You can cut it away later if you want, but the thing is, like, you don't even see it when it's done. It's like hardly even visible, and that helps that piece not to warp during casting, but also it helps it to not warp when it's being worn, and when it's being buffed. So you know what? I might put a couple little supports there. It's probably a little bit of overkill, but you know what? On a piece like this, it's not costing you anything to be safe about it. These supports and these supports, what does it cost you to do that? It doesn't cost you anything extra for the metal, and they're just as easy to take out. But at the end of the day, you know what? You can't see them when the piece is finished. It's like just this little tiny bright spot where the whole piece is connected. But then it stops, like, so, like, let's say you're wearing two necklaces at the same time. Let's say your customer is wearing this necklace and another one. You know, if this little piece isn't there, this little white piece, you know, another necklace can get like caught in here and it can get wound up, or even the chain that goes on this, you know, it can easily get caught and wound up through these areas. So you don't always want a whole lot of free standing areas if you can help it. Gosh, another one would be right here. And like I said, this could be overkill, but I like to be safe on stuff like this because I do not like to do things twice. Yeah, that's it. That's what I would do. Okay, Emily, thanks very much for sending me the file. I will send it back to you with these supports on it.